They say every village has its secret. Some are written in the soil, others are carved in whispers. But in Orinmo, a place no map dares to mark, the elders guard a secret so heavy it bends the air. No traveler leaves unchanged, and no child grows without learning one commandment, older than blood, older than memory. Do not walk the churchyard after dark. But rules are cages. And cages are meant to be broken. What happens when a boy dares to open the gate? Stay with me. Listen carefully. Because once I tell you what stirred beneath that soil, you will not forget. Not tonight. Not ever. Orinmo was not a village like others. The earth there was red, cracked like old skin, and every evening the valley filled with a smoke that smelled of burnt wood, though no fire burned. The old ones said the land remembered a fire too ancient to name, a fire that left a scar on the soil, a scar that bled silence. People lived simple lives, farming yam, millet, cassava, weaving mats, tending goats. Yet every face wore the same shadow. They spoke softly, laughed quietly, and when night pressed its fingers across the sky, they shut their doors with trembling hands. Because in Orinmo, night was not rest. Night was waiting. At the center of Orinmo stood the church. Black stone, older than the tongue of the people. No one remembered when it was built. Its bell tower had crumbled long ago. Its iron bell shattered, scattered like bones across the graveyard. The doors were bound in chains, thick and rusted, and the graves around it leaned like weary men. Some stones bore no names, only marks no one could read. Children were told not to look at it too long, for the church looked back. Every household knew the rule. It was whispered into ears of newborns, sung like a lullaby. Do not enter, do not linger, do not listen. But there is always one who asks why. His name was Adewale. 15, nearly 16, restless as the harmattan wind. His eyes held a storm his mother could not calm. He worked the fields, fetched water, learned the proverbs of his fathers, but inside him a hunger burned, the hunger of forbidden knowledge. He would lie awake at night, listening to the silence, and in that silence he swore he heard it, a breath, a sigh beneath the earth, as if something old still dreamed beneath the churchyard. The elders shook their heads. Obey the rule, Adewale. Do not enter, do not linger, do not listen. But rules were fences, and Adewale had never seen a fence he did not wish to climb. Beyond the village rose Okarako, the forest, a wall of night even in daylight. The Irako trees towered like giants, their roots thick as coiled serpents. By day, birds sang in its crown, but by dusk, mist rose from the soil as if the earth itself breathed. The elders said the forest was a god who had fallen asleep when the world was young. Its trees the folds of its cloak, its roots the fingers of its hand. To walk too deep was to step into the god's dream, and those who did never returned unchanged. Yet Adewale lingered there often. He said he heard voices stitched into the leaves, chants hidden in the wind. He said the forest spoke. The other children laughed nervously, but they never followed him. At night, when the forest sighed, even laughter died. One evening, as the sky bled purple and the sun sank like a dying ember, Adewale found himself before the churchyard gate. His feet had carried him without thought, his heart pounding like a drum in ritual. The gate sagged, its wood scarred by claw-like marks. He stood still, the village behind him hushed, smoke trailing thin from dying fires. From shuttered windows he felt eyes watching. The rule rang in his head. Do not enter, do not linger, do not listen. But fear was a chain, and Adewale's blood had no patience for chains. Slowly his hand stretched forward. The gate groaned open. He graveyard swallowed him. The grass was brittle beneath his steps, though the ground was damp. Tombstones leaned as if bending closer to listen. The air was heavy, cold, carrying the taste of stone and iron. Then it came. A sound so soft it could have been the wind. But it wasn't. It was a breath. A slow, heavy sigh, pulled from beneath the soil. Adewale froze. His chest tightened. Again it came, a pulse, deep, monstrous, shivering through the earth. The graves trembled faintly. Something beneath was alive. Something beneath was waiting. The gate slammed shut behind him with a thunder that shook the night. Adewale spun, but the way was sealed, though no hand had touched it. From the village, one by one, lanterns went dark, swallowed by unseen fingers. The huts lay in silence, black eyes staring at him. The mist thickened, rising to his knees, cold, heavy, wrapping around him like hands. And then, from the forest beyond the fence, something stirred. Shadow, rising, taller than any man, older than any tree. A shape born of silence and dread. Its eyes glowed faint and ember-like, deep within the dark. Adewale's heart thundered, but his body would not move. The graves bent closer. The air pressed in. And from the shadowed trees, something answered. It was not a voice, not at first. It was a vibration, a hum that moved through bark and bone. The trees shuddered, their branches rattling though no wind blew. Adewale felt it crawling up his spine, a murmur stitched into marrow. Then it spoke, not in words, but in the weight of forgotten grief. Moan, cry. The kind of sound that belongs to the buried, not the living. The graves around him shifted, soil loosening, as if restless sleepers turned in their beds. Adewale's breath broke in gasps. The mist thickened, crawling higher, curling like smoke around his chest. He raised a trembling hand and swore he saw them, eyes. Dozens, blinking open in the fog. Not human, not animal, something older. They glowed faintly, yellow like lantern light, blinking in patterns that felt like language. Staring, measuring, hungry. Image prompt. Hyper-realistic scene of a Nigerian boy in a misty graveyard at night, glowing yellow eyes appearing all around him in the swirling fog, some near the ground, some floating higher, terrifying cinematic realism, African folklore style. From the broken bell tower came a sound. Low toll. Once. Then silence. But Adewale knew no bell hung there. The villagers had shattered it long ago, scattering the metal so no spirit could summon it again. Yet the toll had come, a vibration that shook the earth, echoing through his ribs. The ground quivered, dust rising from the cracked stones. Something beneath was listening. Something beneath was waking. Back in the village, doors creaked. Curtains shifted. Old eyes peered from shadows. The elders gathered in silence, their faces carved with lines deeper than years. One held a staff of Iroko wood. Another clutched a gourd marked with chalk. They had always known this day would come. They had prayed it would not arrive in their lifetime. And now the rule was broken. The boy had walked the churchyard. And the churchyard had answered. Adewale fell to his knees. The soil pulsed beneath him like the belly of some great beast. From the cracks rose whispers, threading through his ears, his veins, his thoughts. They did not sound like strangers. They sounded like his own blood, his own ancestors calling his name. Adewale, Adewale, Adewale. The voice multiplied, layered with sorrow, layered with rage. He clutched his head, tears spilling down his face, yet still he listened. For curiosity was stronger than terror, stronger than breath itself. Then the soil split. A hand, blackened, skeletal, wrapped in shreds of burial cloth, pushed through the earth. The mist shrieked, circling in violent spirals. The graves groaned, tilting further. Adewale stumbled backward, his heart clawing at his ribs. One hand became two. And from the earth, something began to rise. It rose taller than any man, its body draped in soil and cloth, its face hidden in shadow. Where eyes should have been, two burning coals glowed red, steady, merciless. The air grew colder. The night itself bent toward it. And Adewale understood. The elders had not been guarding a church. They had been guarding a prison. And now, the prison had opened. It rose taller than any man, its body draped in soil and cloth, its face hidden in shadow. Where eyes should have been, Two burning coals glowed red, steady, merciless. The air grew colder. The night itself bent toward it. And Adewale understood. The elders had not been guarding a church. They had been guarding a prison. And now, the prison had opened,